Technology has caused a monumental shift in influence. Today, the average person gets 561% more engagement sharing a brand message than when that same brand message is shared by a company on social media. The average employee has 10 times the amount of followers as their company on social media. The internet has allowed everyone in this room to be accessible by anybody from anywhere in the world. And that's how one person can have more influence and consumer trust than an entire organization. This is not a possibility. This is our reality. The future of branding is personal. In 2006, I had just graduated from college. I majored in entrepreneurship, and like so many others, I saw myself leaving the classroom and running my own business. But my father told me otherwise. He said, "Talaya, you have no cash and no credit. The only place you running is home to print out resumes." I rolled my eyes and I started to apply for jobs. But there was a problem. I graduated during the time of the economic recession, which meant people were getting laid off left and right. I took whatever job I could find, and I did it all. I sold mattresses, CDs, makeup, everything that had nothing to do with the degree I'd earned, and even less to contribute to the debt I incurred. And guess what? I was not alone. The average millennial will have 10 to 15 different jobs throughout their lifetime, making us the most professionally agile generation ever. Unlike our parents, we didn't have the opportunity of a linear career where you retire from the same job that you've had since you graduated from college. So we did what every species does to survive. We evolved. And this phenomenon was predicted 20 years ago by personal branding pioneer Tom Peters, who said that in the future, professionals would use the same technology as large corporations to market themselves. That future is now. Millennials started to do what any Fortune 500 company would do to protect their bottom line. We leveraged creativity, marketing, and technology to improve ourselves and compete in an unstable economy. People were starting to brand themselves, not just millennials, but everyone. In the days of Mad Men, technology forced branding to evolve from marketing a product or service's functional value to tapping into the emotional value and building a relationship with the consumer. So let's say you have a lemonade stand. You're selling lemonade in the neighborhood. The going rate is 25 cents. But you decide to charge $1 for your lemonade because you're the only person who has access to a car. So you can get your ingredients quicker and therefore fresher than your competitors. But then after a while, your competitors get cars too. So now you can't charge $1 for the functional value, super fresh lemonade, the freshest in town. Now you have to think of another way to charge more. You do an assessment of your neighborhood and you realize that most of your customers are housewives, and they make the purchasing decisions for the household. So you create a new brand strategy that aligns with their values. See, now you're selling more than just lemonade. You're selling a lifestyle, the attributes of a human, something that people can relate to and connect with. Because the best relationships aren't about what you can do for someone, but rather how you make them feel. And this relationship with consumers continues to evolve. Today's modern consumer is smart, thrifty, flooded with options, and overloaded with information to make decisions on their own. Today's modern consumer is you, it's me, it's all of us. And we're tired of being marketed to. In the 1970s, the average person would see about 500 brand messages a day. Today, that number's 5,000. If I see a Diet Coke commercial on Hulu, it doesn't make me want to buy Diet Coke. It makes me want to upgrade my Hulu so I don't see any more commercials. People have outgrown old tactics. We've moved on to brands that want to engage us, provide an experience, and ultimately improve our lives. In the past, companies will market at us through billboards and magazines, and there was little we could do to refute what they claimed their brand to be. But today, we can share our opinions and feedbacks with others in real time, online, on social media, and other platforms. 92% of people trust a recommendation from a person over a company because people have lost trust in corporate branding. Now companies are looking to influencers to market their products. Influencers are everyday people like you and me who have built up a large social network online. Branding has shifted from humanizing objects and abstracts to influencing people with other people who they know, like, and trust. This formula has been around for a very long time. Before influencers, social media, or the internet, people did business with people who they know, like, and trust. Let's discuss how we can use this formula to build our personal brands. The key premise of personal branding is that everyone has one, but not everybody manages it strategically, effectively, and consistently. Beyond getting people to know you, think about what you want to be known for. Most people have not taken the time to identify their personal brand because by the time you become an adult, you're in survival mode with little time to reflect on what you want, what you're passionate about, and the change you would like to see in the world. At 23 years old, I found myself with 2 degrees living in my parents' basement. I had just saved up enough money to quit my decent salary job and finally start my first business. But after a year of entrepreneurship, I experienced burnout. Something was missing. Although I had the strength and the skills to run my business, and there was a market opportunity, I really wasn't passionate about what I was doing. Sometimes you can have passion and the strengths, but it's bad timing, so there's no opportunity. I knew in order for me to find my unique value added to the world, I was going to have to position myself within all 3. Thought leaders do a really good job at identifying their passion and leveraging it. Thought leaders are professionals who find something that they're passionate about. They gain a lot of expertise or education on that topic, and they use it to build online and offline influence. Thought leaders not only create value for themselves, but financial freedom. As a thought leader, you could work for a company for X amount of years, leave, start your own business, get bought out by another company, and then decide you want to be a freelancer. Like a really good baseball star that built his personal brand. Although his jersey may change when he gets traded, he carries his name, his stats, and his fans with him to each team until he retires. So I grew up playing with Barbie. And I was a true Barbie girl, which meant I never cut her hair or let her hook up with my brother's G.I. Joes. And Barbie was one of the most powerful brands in the world because of a concept that Barbie's creator, Ruth Handler, understood that no one else in the doll industry could grasp at that time. Investors thought that young girls would not like to play with a doll with a mature figure, and rather it was their maternalism that attracted them to baby dolls. Wrong. Ruth knew that people like to see themselves in other people and in the future. It inspires us and gives us hope. But in recent years, Barbie's faced a lot of backlash for warping our view of a woman's body image. Consumers are tired of curated perfection and would rather see something that is more realistic and relatable. I like to think of the influencers that I follow on social media as a digital version of everything that Barbie should be. I can see myself in them, I connect with them, and their lives inspire me. No longer does a small group of the rich or the powerful get to dictate the things that we stigmatize or accept. From your first day of school to your last day of work, most of us are taught to assimilate to unrealistic norms. But the most successful brands in the world became that way by being different. As Steve Jobs once said, you don't look at your competitors and say, we're going to do it better. You look at your competitors and say, we're going to do it differently. 10 years ago, Rihanna released her Good Girl Gone Bad album, and critics say that it changed the projection of her career. With 9 million records sold worldwide, it's still her best-selling album to date. Being good meant conforming to everything that the record labels said a pop star should be. Being bad meant doing the exact opposite. Rihanna risked likability to embrace her authenticity, and fans loved it. Because when we see someone embrace their true selves, it empowers us to do the same. A recent survey of 1,700 executives worldwide shows that many of them believe that the personal brand of the CEO will become more important than the brand of their company. And we see this today on social media. Michael Dell has twice the number of followers on Twitter as Dell. Elon Musk has 14 million followers. Tesla has about 2 million. The Muppets have about 2 million followers. Kermit the Frog has 6 million. Everyone knows that Kermit is the CEO of the Muppets. The CEO's face elicits a response. They are no longer a powerful shadow in a hypothetical boardroom. CEOs are people just like us. CEOs are no longer untouchable, for better or for worse. Anybody recall Uber's CEO crisis? Okay, consumers handled that scandal quicker than Olivia Pope, swiping Uber's market share down from 95% to 75%. The rise in consumer influence has made reputation management the #1 business threat for executives across the globe. And it's not because we expect them to be perfect, but when you choose to lie or spin the story instead of allowing people to empathize, you create a manipulative relationship and you ultimately break trust. Corporate brands need us, consumers, executives, employees, influencers, to help them build back trust, and we can use them to help us build our credibility. After my first business, a friend from college approached me and told me that he had been published in a major magazine. I told him that he could probably leverage this opportunity. He didn't believe me because, I didn't have any experience in doing this, but my strategy was quite simple. First, I knew I needed to build his credibility. I used the experiences he built with one brand to get him to the next. Every relationship we built with one celebrity introduced us to another. With creativity, marketing, and technology, I got him on TV shows, in magazines, radio stations, and more. I remember being at the Steve Harvey show and meeting Steve backstage, and he asked me, "Ma'am, who are you?" And at the time, I didn't have a title, but I knew I had discovered my passion. Personal branding works for more than just entertainment, but every industry. Helping people share their story, leverage their expertise, and make a positive impact on society. As a personal branding consultant, I've worked with everyone from students to judges, executives, nonprofit leaders. Maybe you're looking for a new job, or there's something that you want to change in your community. Maybe you need funding for a cause or a great business idea, or you're looking to monetize a hobby after you retire. Your personal brand is the most powerful tool you have to accomplish your goals. Branding is no longer about companies managing our perception. Today, it's about people creating and sharing human experiences. The future of branding is personal. The future of branding is now. Thank you.